Someone is sitting with the terrifying thought that they may have waited too long to fix this. Three of Pentacles. And I'm not going to lie, this card is coming through very loudly as, can we still rebuild this? Or did I lose my place in your life? This person is not just wondering if you miss them. They are wondering if you have emotionally replaced them. If the space they used to occupy in your heart, in your routine, in your mind, has been quietly renovated without them. And that is what scares them. Because Three of Pentacles is the card of effort, repair, showing up, learning how to work with someone instead of against them. But here's the thing. This person may be realizing that they were treating this connection like it would always be under construction. Like they could delay. Like they could come back later. Like you would keep holding the blueprint. And now your energy feels different. It feels quiet. It feels composed. It feels like you stopped explaining yourself. And to them, that silence is louder than any argument you two ever had. They are asking themselves, did I lose them? Did I push them into becoming someone who no longer needs me? Because the Three of Pentacles is not just about love. It is about participation. It is about whether both people are willing to build. And psychologically, this card is showing someone who is finally understanding that love cannot survive on potential alone. They may still have strong feelings. Stronger than before, actually. But their fear is that feelings are no longer enough to get access to you. This is where it gets intense. They see you as someone who may have outgrown the waiting room. Someone who may have looked at the emotional labor, the inconsistency, the mixed signals, and said, I cannot keep building this by myself. And now they are panicking because they want to be part of the structure again. They want to know if there is still a door. They want to know if the foundation is cracked beyond repair. And we're going to pull into what they believe you feel now, because I strongly feel this person thinks you have gone cold. But what they do not understand is that your silence may not be coldness. It may be self-respect. Because what they are calling coldness may actually be the moment you stopped pouring from an empty cup. Nine of Cups reversed. And I'm going to be honest with you. This card is very loud here because upright, the Nine of Cups can talk about emotional satisfaction, wishes, fulfillment, that feeling of, I'm good, I have what I need. But reversed, especially in this energy, it feels like someone realizing that the thing they thought would always satisfy them is no longer giving them peace. And that is where they are projecting onto you. They think you pulled back because you no longer care. But what I'm actually feeling is that you may have pulled back because caring started costing you too much. There is a difference. This is not the energy of someone who woke up one day and said, I want to hurt them. No, this feels more like someone who kept trying to be understood, kept trying to explain the same wound in different words, kept trying to show where the connection was leaking, until eventually something inside of you said, I cannot keep making my pain more digestible for someone who refuses to meet me in it. And they can feel that shift. They may not know how to name it, but they can feel it. Because before, your energy may have reached for them. Even when you were hurt, even when you were disappointed, even when you were tired, there was still a part of you that wanted to fix it. There was still a part of you holding the blueprint, looking at the cracks, saying, okay, maybe if I explain it this way, maybe if I give them time, maybe if I soften my tone. But now it feels like you put the blueprint down, and to them that looks like detachment. But energetically, it feels more like recovery. The Nine of Cups reversed is showing me that this person may believe you are dissatisfied with them now. Like they look at you and they feel this uncomfortable, knowing that maybe they are no longer the wish. Maybe they are no longer the person you are hoping will finally come through. Maybe the fantasy you once had about this connection has started to lose its shine. And that scares them because they are used to your hope. They are used to your emotional investment. They are used to the part of you that wanted this to become something better. But when someone stops hoping in the same way, the whole dynamic changes. And this is why your silence is disturbing them. Not because silence is aggressive. Not because you are doing something cruel, but because your silence is no longer asking a question. It is not saying, "Do you still care?" It is not saying, "Are you coming back?" It is not saying, "Can you please understand me?" It is simply standing there, quiet, whole, unavailable for the same pattern. And this person does not know what to do with that. Because with the Three of Pentacles, they could still imagine there was a project here. Something being repaired, something being worked on. Something they could return to when they were ready to participate. But with this Nine of Cups reversed, they are realizing the emotional reward they expected from your patience may no longer be available. They may be asking themselves, did I drain the very part of them that used to love me so openly? And that is a hard mirror, because I feel like this person is not just afraid that you are angry. Anger would almost be easier for them, because anger still gives them something to respond to. Anger still feels like engagement. Anger still says, I am affected by you. But peace? Peace is different. Peace does not negotiate with the old version of someone. Peace does not chase clarity out of someone who keeps hiding behind confusion. Peace does not keep auditioning for a place that should have already been honored. And that is why this person may be more scared of your calm than they ever were of your pain. Because your pain told them they still mattered. Your peace is making them wonder if they waited until they no longer do. And now we have Two of Swords reversed. And this is such an interesting card to come through right here, because upright, Two of Swords can be that place of avoidance, indecision, emotional blocking, not wanting to look directly at what is happening. But reversed, it feels like the blindfold is slipping. Something they did not want to see, they are starting to see. And what they are seeing is that you may not be waiting in the same place anymore. That is the part that hits them. Because this person may have told themselves, they're just upset. They're just taking space. They'll calm down. They still care. And maybe you do still care. But caring is not the same as staying emotionally available for confusion. Caring is not the same as keeping your life paused. Caring is not the same as leaving the door wide open while someone keeps standing outside undecided, acting like entering the room is some impossible choice. And with this Two of Swords reversed, I feel like this person is realizing that your world has started moving again, not necessarily with somebody else. That is important. Because when we say emotionally replaced, their mind may go straight to, is there someone new? Are they giving their attention to someone else? Is someone else making them smile? Is someone else hearing the things I used to hear? But replacement can be quieter than that. Replacement can be you waking up and not checking for them first. Replacement can be you making plans without wondering if they will finally show up. Replacement can be you finding comfort in your own routine, your own peace, your own people, your own body, your own home, your own silence. Replacement can be your nervous system, no longer organizing itself around their inconsistency. And that is what they feel. They feel that your energy is not bending toward them the way it used to. They may be wondering, who gets their softness now? Who gets the version of you that used to be patient? Who gets the long messages? Who gets the benefit of the doubt? Who gets the gentle explanation, the open heart, the emotional generosity that they kept taking, as if it would regenerate on command? And this is where the fear becomes very specific. Because it is not just, did they move on? It is, did they move on into a version of themselves that I cannot easily reach? That is different, that is deeper. Because if it was just another person, they could compare. They could compete in their mind. They could tell themselves, maybe that won't last. But how do you compete with someone's peace? How do you compete with someone's standards? How do you compete with the calm they found after you kept bringing uncertainty? That is why this Two of Swords reversed feels so uncomfortable for them. They are being forced out of denial. They are having to look at the possibility that the space they once occupied has not been handed to another person. It may have been returned to you. And that may scare them even more. Because when you give your heart back to yourself, people who relied on your overextension feel like they have been locked out. But the truth is, they were not locked out because you became cruel. They were locked out because they kept refusing to meet you with clarity. And eventually, your spirit stopped waiting for a decision they were afraid to make. Now they are looking at your life, your energy, your silence, and they are trying to read between the lines. Are they happier without me? Do they think about me less? Do they still feel anything when my name comes up? Did I become the person they had to heal from? And that question right there is heavy. Because this person may be realizing that they were not just absent from your life. They were teaching you absence. Every unanswered emotion, every delayed conversation, every moment where they made you feel like loving them required you to abandon yourself, was training you. And the most painful part for them is that they may have trained you very well. They may have taught you exactly how to live without them. And now we have the Emperor reversed. And I have to say, this is a very telling card to come out after that line, because the Emperor upright can be structure, stability, leadership. Someone who knows how to hold something with maturity. Someone who understands that love is not just a feeling, it is a responsibility. But reversed? This is where someone may be looking at the ways they did not create emotional safety. Not because they had no feelings. That is not what I'm getting. It feels more like they had feelings, but they did not know how to organize them into something you could trust. And that is very different. Because this person may have cared, but caring without consistency can start to feel like emotional weather. One day warm, one day distant, one day present, one day impossible to reach. And after a while, you stop dressing for sunshine. You start preparing for storms. You start preparing for absence. You start preparing for the version of them that disappears right when something needs to be talked about. And I feel like this person is realizing that now. They are realizing that your detachment was not random. It was not sudden. It was not you becoming cold out of nowhere. It was built, piece by piece, moment by moment. Every time they delayed a conversation, something in you adjusted. Every time they gave you mixed signals, something in you became more cautious. Every time they made you feel like asking for basic clarity was asking for too much, something in you learned to ask less. And that is the painful part. Because with the Three of Pentacles, we were talking about building, repair, participation. But now, with the Emperor reversed, I feel like the structure they offered was unstable. Maybe they wanted the benefits of being close to you, but they did not always want the responsibility of protecting that closeness. They wanted access, but they struggled with accountability. They wanted your warmth, but they did not always know how to make you feel safe enough to keep giving it. And so you learned. You learned how to stop reaching first. You learned how to stop waiting for the explanation. You learned how to stop making their emotional immaturity the center of your day. You became skilled at self-protection. That is the twist here. The Three of Pentacles says skill, craft, practice, repetition. And maybe the skill you developed in this connection was not how to love harder. Maybe it was how to stop abandoning yourself. And they can feel the difference between someone who is upset and someone who has been trained into boundaries. That is why this mirror is so hard for them to look into. Because they may want to say, "Why did you change?" But somewhere deeper, they know. They were there for the moments that changed you. They were there for the waiting. They were there for the confusion. They were there for the silence they expected you to survive. And now they are seeing that every time they made you wait, they weakened the emotional bridge between you. Not all at once, slowly, quietly. Until one day, they looked across and realized you were no longer standing in the middle, trying to meet them halfway. You had stepped back. You had stopped crossing a bridge they kept refusing to maintain. And this is where the next layer gets even more intense, because their feelings are not weaker now. They are stronger. But they are stronger because they can no longer control the pace of this connection. And now we have Six of Pentacles. And this is exactly the kind of card I would expect to see when someone is finally feeling the weight of imbalance. Because Six of Pentacles is about giving and receiving. It is about reciprocity. It is about whether the emotional exchange feels fair, whether both people are showing up with open hands, or whether one person kept taking while the other kept trying to prove they were worth being chosen. And I feel like this person is now looking back at how much you gave. Not just materially, emotionally, energetically, mentally. You may have given patience when they were confused. You may have given understanding when they were inconsistent. You may have given softness when they were defensive. You may have given chances when part of you already knew that another chance would cost you something, and now they are hearing the echo. That is what I keep getting. Now they are hearing the echo of the conversations they brushed past. The messages they answered too late. The moments where you were trying to create repair, and they were acting like your need for clarity was pressure. At the time, they may have told themselves, this is too much. But now they are realizing it was not too much. It was love asking for somewhere safe to land. And because your energy is no longer as available, because you are not leaning forward in the same way, their feelings are intensifying. But I do not feel this as a shallow chase. I do not feel this as, oh, now they want you because they cannot have you. It feels deeper than that. It feels like consequences have finally reached their heart. The distance has made something real to them. Now the silence has a shape. Now your absence has details. Now they are remembering how you used to notice things, how you used to check in, how you used to try to understand their moods, their fears, their wounds, even when they were not always careful with yours. And with Six of Pentacles, there is this uncomfortable awareness of, did they give more than I knew how to receive? Because sometimes people do not recognize generosity while they are benefiting from it. They only recognize it when it stops. And that is where this person is sitting. They are realizing that your loyalty was not weakness. Your patience was not desperation. Your willingness to build was not something they were entitled to. It was a gift, and they may have mishandled it. That is why their feelings are stronger now. Not because they suddenly discovered you out of nowhere, but because the avoidance that kept those feelings buried is no longer protecting them from the truth. They cannot hide behind your effort anymore. They cannot use your hope as a cushion anymore. They cannot assume that you will keep balancing the scales by yourself. And I feel like this is bringing up something they are ashamed to admit, even to themselves. And now we have Wheel of Fortune. And I'm not surprised this card is coming through here, because Wheel of Fortune is about timing, cycles, repetition. The moment where life starts turning the wheel, and someone realizes they are no longer standing in the same season they were standing in before. And this person is looking at that wheel now like, did I miss my moment? That is the shame. Not just that they hurt you, not just that they delayed, but that somewhere inside, they knew you deserved more while they were giving less. They knew. Maybe they did not admit it out loud. Maybe they buried it under excuses, stress, fear, timing, pride, confusion, whatever they told themselves at the time. But on some level, they knew there were moments where you were standing there with sincerity, with openness, with a real desire to build, and they were giving you fragments, pieces, almosts, Maybes, and they may have confused your patience with permission. That is what I'm feeling very strongly. They may have thought, well, they are still here, so I still have time. They are still responding, so I have not lost them. They are still trying, so the door is still open. But your heart was not a revolving door. And that is the part they are ashamed to face. Because Wheel of Fortune can bring that realization that the cycle has shifted whether they were ready for it or not. The same access they once had may not be available in the same way. The same version of you who would have understood, explained, waited, forgiven, softened, and made room for their uncertainty may not be standing there anymore. And I feel like this person wants to come forward, but shame is making them hesitate. Because what do you say when you know you should have said it sooner? What do you say when the apology is real, but it may also sound late? What do you say when you want to tell someone, I understand now? But part of you knows they needed you to understand when they were still breaking, not after they had to put themselves back together. That is where this person is stuck. The wheel is turning, but they do not know if it is turning toward another chance or toward consequences, and that uncertainty is humbling them. Because before, they may have believed time was on their side. Now time feels like the thing exposing them. Now they are watching for signs. Small signs, quiet signs, anything that tells them whether there is still a way back in before they make a move. And now we have 10 of Pentacles reversed. And this is a very specific energy, because upright, 10 of Pentacles can talk about long-term security, a place in someone's life, a future that feels established, something that has roots, something that feels like, I belong here. But reversed, this is the fear of losing that place. This is someone realizing that the future they assumed they could still step into may not be waiting in the same form. And I feel like this person is watching from a distance, but not in a loud way, not in some dramatic, obsessive way. It feels quieter than that, more like they are paying attention to the absence of things. The absence of you reaching out, the absence of you explaining your feelings, the absence of you trying to make them understand what they already should have understood. They may be looking at your tone if you do communicate. Is it softer? Is it shorter? Is it polite but distant? Are you still emotionally open, or are you just being respectful? They may be noticing your response times. They may be noticing if you post differently. They may be noticing if your energy feels lighter, more private, more protected. And the thing is, every sign feels uncertain to them. Because they want proof that there is still a door, but they are terrified that the door is only visible because they are standing outside of it. That is what 10 of Pentacles reversed is giving me. This person may have once felt like they had a place in your emotional home, like they knew where they stood, even if they were not acting like they valued it. And now they feel like the locks have changed, not because you are punishing them, but because your standards change the entry requirements. And that is making them nervous, because a direct approach would require accountability. A direct approach would mean saying, I know I was inconsistent. I know I made you carry more than your share. I know I acted like I had time. And they may not feel ready to stand in that much truth yet. So instead, they may test the waters. They may send something casual. They may react to something. They may appear around your energy in a way that looks small on the outside, but feels heavy underneath. Because what they are really asking is, do I still have access? Do you still soften when you see me? Is there still a part of you that would let me come closer? But this is where the reading is getting very clear. The real question is not whether they miss you. They do. The real question is not whether they feel the loss. They feel it. The real question is whether they are ready to stop standing outside the structure, looking for signs that the door is open, and actually participate differently if they are allowed back in. And now we have death reversed. And that is very important here because death upright is transformation, closure. The ending of an old cycle so something honest can begin. But reversed, this can be someone resisting the change that has already happened. This is where they may want things to go back to how they were. But that is the problem. Because how things were is exactly what brought you to this point. And I feel like this person may be struggling with that. They may miss your openness. They may miss your warmth. They may miss the version of this connection where they still felt emotionally close to you, even if they were not fully showing up the way they should have. But missing the old access is not the same as being ready to build something new. That distinction matters. Because with death reversed, there is this question of, do they want transformation? Or do they just want relief from the consequences? Do they want to rebuild? Or do they just want to stop feeling locked out? Because the Three of Pentacles is still sitting underneath all of this. That original energy has not gone anywhere. It is still asking, can we build? But now the question is more mature. It is not, can we go back? No. It is, can this person participate in a way they did not before? Can they show humility? Can they listen without becoming defensive? Can they be consistent when the emotional intensity calms down? Can they respect the fact that your standards are different now? Because if they come back only wanting the old version of you, they are coming back to a place that no longer exists. And I feel like that is the turning point. This person cannot rebuild with who you used to be while avoiding who you had to become. They cannot say, I miss you, and expect that to replace structure. They cannot say, I still love you, and expect that to erase the absence. They cannot apologize once and think the foundation is automatically repaired. Words are not structure. Longing is not effort. Regret is not changed behavior. And I feel like you need to hear that, because there is still emotional tension here. There are still feelings. There is still something in this person that is attached, affected, and maybe even deeply moved by what they are realizing. But the real test is whether they can let the old pattern die. Death reversed says someone may be afraid of losing you, but also afraid of becoming the version of themselves who would not lose you again. And that is where you have to watch the difference. Someone who misses access will try to reopen the door. Someone who wants repair will ask what it takes to earn trust inside the room. And their next move may reveal more than they intend, because I feel like when this person comes forward, it may not look as big as what they are feeling. And now we have Page of Swords. And this makes so much sense for the next move, because Page of Swords is communication, observation, curiosity, watching, thinking before speaking, trying to figure out what is safe to say. This is not always the biggest message. This is not always the grand confession. Sometimes Page of Swords is the small opening, a simple, hey, a question that seems casual, a reaction to something you said, a message that looks like it took 2 seconds to type, but emotionally, they may have been sitting with it for days. Because this person may be trying to appear calm. They may be trying to act like they are just checking in, like there is no pressure, like they are not carrying all of this fear underneath the surface. But behind that small move, there is a much bigger question. Will they answer? Will they be warm? Will they ignore me? Will I feel the difference in their tone? And that is why I do not want you to underestimate the simplicity of what comes in. Because with Page of Swords, the message may look light, but the energy behind it is not light. It feels careful. It feels nervous. It feels like someone holding back more than they are saying, because they are afraid that one wrong word could confirm what they fear most. That they no longer have a place. So they may test the air before they step into the room. They may say something indirect before they say something vulnerable. They may ask how you have been when what they really mean is, have you been okay without me? They may bring up something familiar when what they really mean is, do we still have a thread between us? They may apologize in a way that starts small because they are trying to see if your energy opens or closes. And this is where you need to stay grounded. Do not rush to fill in the silence for them. Do not translate their half sentence into a full apology they have not given yet. Do not take one small sign and immediately start rebuilding the whole structure in your mind. Let them speak. Let them show you what they are capable of carrying. Because Page of Swords can be a beginning, but it is not the whole repair. It is the first sentence. It is the first knock. It is the moment where someone finally stops just watching the door and tries to say something from the other side of it. And you will be able to feel the difference between curiosity and accountability. Curiosity says, "Are you still there?" Accountability says, "I know why you left." That is the difference. And I feel like their next move may come through in a way that asks you to listen beneath the surface, but not abandon your discernment. Because yes, there may be feelings here. Yes, there may be fear. Yes, there may be regret. But the final question is not just what they say when they come back around. It is what you need to remember before deciding whether the door is still open. And now we have Temperance. And this is such a grounding card to close this energy with, because Temperance is not frantic. It is not chasing. It is not forcing two people into the same room before they are ready to be honest inside of it. Temperance is patience, but not the kind of patience that abandons you. It is balance. It is healing. It is the slow, careful blending of what was hurt with what still has the potential to become healthier. And I feel like this is the message for you. You do not have to rush just because they are finally feeling the weight of what they risked. You do not have to open the door just because they knock. You do not have to prove that you still care by making their fear easier to carry. Because your silence has already spoken. Your distance has already revealed something. It revealed that you were not the problem simply because you needed consistency. It revealed that you were not asking for too much when you wanted participation. It revealed that the connection did not break because you stopped caring. It started cracking when one person kept treating your care like it could survive anything, and now they see it. That is what this whole reading has been circling around. They see the value of what they had access to. They see that your softness was not automatic. They see that your presence was not guaranteed. They see that love can be strong and still choose peace. And with Temperance here, I feel like the question is no longer, do they have feelings? They do. The question is, can those feelings become something balanced? Can they meet you without rushing you? Can they apologize without making the apology about their fear? Can they accept that rebuilding takes time? Can they understand that repair is not just one emotional conversation, but a different pattern repeated long enough for your nervous system to believe it? Because that is what Three of Pentacles was saying from the beginning. Love is not just potential. Love is participation. And if this person truly wants to come back into your life, they have to understand that you are not the same person who was standing in the waiting room with the blueprint in your hands. You are calmer now, clearer now, more careful with your heart now. And that is not cold. That is wisdom. So let them feel what they feel. Let them come forward if they are ready, but do not chase the version of them that only exists in regret. Watch for the version that can show up in reality. Because missing you is not the same as rebuilding with you. Wanting access is not the same as earning trust. And if they want back into the structure, they cannot just miss the home. They have to help rebuild it.